43 minutes past 5 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome back. You are tuned into the weekend edition of Iftar Drive. My name is Zahid Jadwat, and I'll be with you for the next half an hour or so as we head towards Iftar time. Just a quick look before we continue with the show, of course, at the Iftar times in the major cities. Durban, 4 minutes to 6 p.m. That is exactly when you can open your fast. Johannesburg, 6:10 p.m. and Cape Town at 15 minutes to 7 p.m. Nonetheless, let's move on now to our weekly theme, or rather a segment dealing with the theme of tafsir from the Quran. And of course, we're joined by none other than Maulana Muhammad Zubair Bulla for that. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Salam Media.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you this afternoon, Maulana? The first 10 days of Ramadan nearly done.
Alhamdulillah. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many a times we quote that Ramadan is moving fast, but we should have prepared for Ramadan because Allah has stipulated 30 days fast. So we utilize every moment, and Alhamdulillah, we wish Allah grant us the tawfiq that we see many more Ramadan days.
I mean, and of course, this weekly segment, which we actually begun last week, being the first week of Ramadan, looking at certain themes and specific themes from the Quran. The Quran being a very important part of our identity as Muslims. So I think I'll give you the platform now to continue and pick up where we left off last week with this.
Inshallah, Mark, I cannot hear you very clearly, but Alhamdulillah, the Quran Sharif is, the book of life. It is our constitution of being. And we try to extract our lifestyle from it. And just to recap, that the Quran has been, from last week in a few seconds, that I tried to bring the Quran around the month of Ramadan because in this month it is the month of the Quran, the month of Ramadan. And what I focused on was the hidayah and how we can love ourselves and love our life around the Quran Sharif. So with that, last week we mentioned regarding Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, that indeed we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for hidayah. And there are 3 stages of hidayah, and which I mentioned last week. And the hidayah that we require is the hidayah of the straight path. And when a person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants that person hidayah, then indeed that person then becomes the friend and the wali of Allah. So all for us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires us to be close to Him. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes our ears we hear with, our nose we smell with, our hearts we love with, our hands we feel with. Allah becomes ours. When Allah is ours, then we have no doubt in life. So continuing that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran Sharif in Surah Yunus, Ala inna awliya Allahi la khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. That behold, verily for the friends of Allah Ta'ala, there shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. That when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes yours, when you become the wali of Allah, then you will not have grief, past, present, or future. Yes, you might have some difficulties regarding life, the normal circumstances we go through, but that will not bring a person to a grieving point, because you will have total reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for us, we tend to find people walis, for a person who has a miracle or does sort of magic. Like if a person says that we saw a Maulana running over water, or he was flying with a broomstick, or he shows you, at the flip of a finger, we think these are walis. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in another ayah here I bring forth, that in awliya'uhu illa al-muttaqun, that the walis, the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who have those people who have taqwa. And indeed, the Mufassirin mentioned, very beautifully the Arabic language, that when in and illa are brought, then it gives the meaning of absolute exclusivity. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared a Jannah for the muttaqeen, the breath which is between the heavens and the earth. This is the Jannah for the muttaqeen. And we look into another ayah to understand, we'll try to make, the Quran is for every human being on every level to understand. So another beautiful ayah, this was just to, elaborate who the muttaqeen and the awliya are. But for us to bring our life and bring our identity on the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, الذين in Surah Al Imran, الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين. And who are the muttaqeen? Who are these awliya? Those who spend in adversity, who swallow the anger and forgive people. Allah loves those who do good. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us, you want to become my friend, you want to become a muttaqi, you want to become a wali, then those who should spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we find that if you go, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring that those in ease and adversity, that whether a person has or he doesn't have, that we should spend in the path of Allah. If you go to a poor man, he will say, I have nothing. And if you go to a rich man, he will say, I have dependents, I have staff. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, Sahaba radiallahu anhu mentions that he was the one who spent the most. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should make us that we spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, if we look at the hadith regarding Ramadan, that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said to the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, spend, feed one another. And they said, oh Nabi of Allah, we do not have anything. And Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam says that even if it is a mere date or a sip of water, so we should not, and regarding spending, we should go deep into our pockets, the month of Ramadan, the month of and sadaqah is of such a nature that if there is any calamity, that Allah save us one and all. But if there is any calamity that is before someone, then sadaqah will alleviate that calamity. And this is Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making us generous. And it's that person who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes further mention of a person who spends. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tubtilu sadaqatikum bil manni wal adha. I won't go into detail in the ayah as we have limited time, but I will just give you the translation and the meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that spend for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's the example of that person who has if there's a rock and they stand on the rock and a heavy rain comes and the sand is washed away, and that person who spends, so there's no benefit. You've done it for name and fame. But if a person spends for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the example of a person who has a garden on a high mountain on a raised plateau, and when a heavy rain comes, not only does he reap crops, but twofold thereof. And leave alone a heavy rain, just a mere drizzle, he will reap crops from there. So these are examples from Quran Sharif. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is understanding his makhluk for us to understand the Quran Sharif. And the final part of it is وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ, and that person who controls his anger. And it does that, and this is a very important part, that you might find a generous person, but do you find a person who can really control his anger? And beautiful, the Arabic language, Allah uses the word kazimin, that person who has control of anger. So you over your wife, you over your children, so you above them in that certain aspect. In terms of wealth, you over your staff, your employees, etc. So that person who has sub owners under him, and he controls his anger at that time for somebody that's weaker than him, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us that you will be the muttaqeen, the awliya, the people who are the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who do good. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq that we may make the Quran our identity. When a person sees a Muslim, he sees the Quran. That was when a person sees the Quran, is going to look at the interpretation of the Quran. It was the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, and we should be the ambassadors of Deen, the ambassadors of the Sahaba, and the ambassadors of Sunnah. And indeed, that will be the face of the Quran Sharif, inshallah.
Yes, of course, and just linking up with something that I actually came across shortly before coming live on the show this afternoon, and I found this to be quite, it was a good thing that came my way, and it was interesting to read. Where it was said that how do we observe patience, and you just spoke about restraining anger as well, and then the response to that is in the same manner that we fast. When we are completely certain that the adhan of Maghrib will eventually be called. So that was quite a simple response to somebody who asked, how do we keep patient? And, tying that in with our fasting, which is something we do during Ramadan. But nonetheless, that's where we leave it for today. Jazakallah so much for your time.
Taking that point that a person shouldn't be given a green light that he's fasting and that's why he's angry. In fact, if we want to really, understand fasting, then we should control our anger. And there's many ways, making wudu. If a person is standing, sitting down, lying down, etc. And inshallah, this will bring the love of Sunnah and us bring the Quran our identity, inshallah.
Jazakallah so much for that. That was Maulana Muhammad Zubair Pula coming to us live from Joburg as well, speaking to us on this week's segment, Quran Our Identity, which is something we do on this weekend edition of the Iftar show. We do this weekly every Saturday at around 20 to 6, so shortly before Iftar, where we unpack a certain theme emanating from the Quran. Of course, many lessons to be learned from the Quran itself. We just need to keep our ears and eyes open for those lessons, and hopefully we'll get to them. In that manner, we can actually improve our lives and the way we interact with other people, the way we live our lives ourselves and lead our lives ourselves. Many lessons for us in many various different aspects. Just a quick recap of what we've been discussing so far on this weekend edition of the Iftar Drive. And that, of course, earlier on we spoke to Faiza Laher, who is a registered dietitian and a spokesperson, in fact, for the ADSA. And she spoke to us about the importance of maintaining a healthy diet during Ramadan. We did unpack as much we could in the 10 minutes or so that we spoke. We did unpack some of the things dealing with diet in Ramadan and how you can maintain a healthy diet, what to avoid, what to actively seek out in your diet, what to add, find that balance. So some important points mentioned there by Faisal Laher, registered dietitian. She spoke to us earlier this afternoon at the very beginning of the show, so around about 4:15. And if you missed that, you can obviously go and check that out on our Facebook and YouTube pages. And I'm sure an article will also be coming from that soon enough as well. And then we also spoke about the banking sector making news once again for various wrong reasons. And it seems we spoke to Professor Yanni Rousseau from the Wits Business School about that. You can also check that out on our various platforms. And then, of course, one of the highlights for me, in fact, was Youth Matters. And this week's theme and the topic of this week's segment was interacting with people from other backgrounds. How exactly do you go about doing that? Nonetheless, it's now iftar time in the Durban region at 3 minutes to 6 p.m. We'll take a break and then play some dhikr as well. When we get back, it's time for iftar in Johannesburg at 6:10, and Cape Town iftar coming in at 15 minutes to 7.
Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن لله يهفو آملي لله ولحفظ كتاب الله من أول بسم الله للختم وللرضوان يا نور يا نور يا محكم يا تنزيل لمحمد عن جبريل من رب العرش دليل للعالم والإنسان رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن تكبير تكبير للحافظ وهو صغير والضاء العين قريب يحمل فجرا لينير بتلاوته الأكوان الله الله اللهم اجمعنا بكتابك وانفعنا واجعله لنا حسنا وهدى أبدا وأمان رحمن يا رحمن ساعدني يا رحمن اشرح صدري قرآن املأ قلبي قرآن واسق حياتي قرآن رحمن
You are listening to Salam Media live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है। अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है। अल्लाह अल्लाह कैसा प्यारा नाम है, आशिकों का मीना और जाम है। अल्लाह जल्ल जलालुहू। अल्लाह 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 Allah, 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 Allah.